Hi, I'm back underneath the car. My name's Dave and this is an Altezza. You might remember from a previous episode that I installed this brace here. Problem that I have is that it actually hits here. I didn't really understand why until a friend of mine bought one of these, new, not actually this one, I think he bought a Cusco one, and it came with some spacers, 8mm spacers that go on the points. That spaces it down and then it won't hit anymore. That's not touching, but it's really damn close. I'm not happy about that because I'm gonna have to raise the car up, but I can't live with the noise this makes. I'm not happy with that, so we're not gonna live with that. I need to take this off again and put spacers underneath it. Another thing that I've noticed that I need to check is you'll notice that if let's just do this. This bush currently doesn't move if I push on it. It's currently sitting on jack stands, right? Now let me just jack it up from here just to take the weight off the diff, and I'll show you something. See how it spins? Yeah, the more you jack it up with the diff, the easier that spinning becomes. So either it's supposed to be that way, or I haven't put those bolts in tight enough, or maybe you're supposed to jack it up with the diff and then do those bolts up. I don't know, but you can't get to those bolts unless you take that brace off. See, the bolt hole is covered over. I have to take this off to put the spacers on it, so while this is off, I'll jack it up by the diff and see if that bolt becomes easier to tighten up or not. So first up, we have to get the brace off, and of course we run into an audio issue. My friend was kind enough to show me all the hardware that came with this Cusco brace and give me all the relevant data so that I could replicate it. From the 10.9 tensile strength bolts to the washers required, and most importantly, the size of the spacers. I got a box of these bolts. They are M8, 40mm long, and they are a tensile strength of 10.9, same as the Cusco. I got some washers, some lock washers, and the spacers that I need. These are 8mm high with an M10 hole in it, same as Cusco. I would have preferred a 8mm hole in the middle, but they didn't have those. Quite expensive, actually. Yes, that's all we're going to need. All right, I'm going to need 8 regular washers, 8 lock washers. Put the lock washer on, put the regular washer on. 1 down, 7 to go. And the last one, lock washer, regular washer, and that's 8 ready to go. I was very impressed by this. This is 23 of them for like $6. In the hardware store, they're like $1 each. So that's great. I really would have preferred the spacers to have an 8mm hole in the middle, but that wasn't an option, and that's also not what Cusco uses. So I'm not sure why they don't, but they don't, so I'm not going to either. And you're not going to worry about it. Okay? Excellent. Glad we've got that out of the way. Oh, but you need to use 8mm, otherwise they're gonna snap because they're not spaced properly. Get f***ed. How crazy am I that I talk to myself like that? Well, that's one in. I never check the big bolts for torque. Need to do that before we continue. Can we get... Is this gonna ruin itself? Yeah, I don't like that. Alright, we're gonna have to take it out again. Shit. I don't know whether they're torqued correctly, so I need to check it, otherwise it'll be on my mind forever. I found this on my phone, and there it is there. This one here, 127 Nm. So I'll get to that. Got my torque wrench, got my beer, couple of sockets. Let's do that. Just need a long socket. 127. Oh, wow. I don't know if I've got the power to even push that. Honestly, lying on the ground. My roller wants to roll away. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's 127, all right. So I guess they're just like that. I guess that's normal. Let's try and jack it up and see. I'll check the other side though. I will jack the diff up and try again. Nah, definitely fine. All right, well, that's just the way it is. It's actually nowhere near as difficult as I thought it was going to be, because you can just sit the spacer on top and then you're free to go from underneath. One advantage is that these bolts are 10.9 tensile strength, which means they're very, very strong. It's very unlikely you're going to snap them. Well, this definitely gives me more clearance to the muffler, which is nice. It's what I needed. Now these are 13mm heads, and around here we call that Felix. And the reason for that is that house bolts are normally 13mm. Early 2000s, late 90s, there was a music artist called Felix the House Cat. And around that time, my friend Grant and I were working on cars. And Grant came across a 13mm bolt, which is a house bolt, and he called it Felix the House Bolt. So ever since, a 13 is now Felix the House Bolt. I want my Milwaukee. I want my Milwaukee. You're welcome, Milwaukee Tools. Now, 19 newton meters. Probably gone well over that already. 19 is so small, such a small amount for a bolt like this. Especially not for a 10.9 bolt. Like 19 newton meters is nothing. Whatever, just follow the instructions. You can easily go past 19 with this. It just wants to go more. But that's it, 19 newton meters, so that's done. Let's get up here so you can see how much clearance we have. So that shouldn't bang onto it anymore. No, looks like we're good. I don't even know if this is gonna do anything. Honestly, I really don't. It probably won't do anything. Waste of time. Even driving it, I'm not going to really know if it made a huge difference or not. I don't think I'm experienced enough to be able to make that call. Anyway, I digress. We need to put, there's still a plastic shroud that needs to go in here. Need to add some weight to the vehicle. We've taken too much out. So I want to put this back in. Where are you? There. All right. Go in there then. All right. No, don't even want to. Come on, man. That one's fine. You're really gonna bring the tap out here to do this? Just snap the bolt off in there. That's the other option. Doesn't want to go in. Stops there. Rather than ruining it, I'll go get the tap. Couldn't be a day of working on the Altezza without a bolt that won't go in, or a bolt that snaps or something like that. So it's a little bit of WD-40 here, and that's nice. It's going in easy. Like, if I hadn't have done this, it probably would have been fine. There's just a bit of rust in it, I reckon. It's perfectly fine. So let's put this back, run our first bolt in. I'm actually not going to torque these, just going to do them up. They'll end up being tighter than these ones probably. We are done. Now I need to raise up the car. We're going to have to pretty much raise it up this amount on the suspension so that this doesn't just drag on the ground, because I'd already hit the old ones and they were up here. I have some calipers. Let's have a look. What actual height have we got here? All right, so this is a total of 43. I mean, that's a lot to raise the car up by, though. It really is. Although I have been told it's probably going to drift better higher up. Get that weight flopping around all over the place. The question I have to ask myself now is, do I want to adjust the suspension now, or do I want to do it tomorrow? I also have to bleed the brakes, so it's 5 o'clock, but I don't know if you can tell, but it's pretty dark. And what temperature is it? It's 3 degrees. I might leave it till tomorrow. Go inside, do some editing, and then come back out again. Yeah, I think I'll do that. So we leave it like this.